Of all the UAP topics to captivate us this year, nothing has really caught us or our attention more than that of the Buga sphere that has come out of Colombia. Now, obviously, this object right now is in the possession of Jaime Maussan, the Mexican scientist, I suppose, who presented the alien bodies in front of the Mexican Congress back in 2024, I think it was. And, it's been widely discussed. A lot of people like Jesse Michaels, who of course has got his own podcast over on YouTube, has discussed it. And also Dr. Stephen Greer has had his, fair share of attention shared towards this. And he's come out with some very insane claims recently regarding it. Now, in case you haven't seen the Buga sphere, obviously, I don't know how you could have missed it, but just to catch you up, this is a stabilized version of the footage of the alleged sphere that was captured over Colombia earlier this year.
En primera instancia, el arquitecto Josué Hernández logró estabilizar la toma y con el auxilio de inteligencia artificial logró definir claramente a la esfera. Esto permitió determinar que ésta gira. La velocidad es tal que incluso no permite observar los elementos grabados en su estructura. Asimismo, observe cómo brilla en la parte superior y en la zona baja refleja el ambiente que se encuentra en la superficie. El arquitecto Josué Hernández así describió lo que encontró en este análisis de inteligencia artificial.
Con esta estabilización logramos hacer un mejoramiento con inteligencia artificial para tratar de ver si giraba o si habían detalles que nos habíamos perdido con el movimiento. También aumentamos los cuadros por segundo a 120 cuadros por segundo y la velocidad la hicimos a la mitad de lo que era la original. Todo esto para poder ver el detalle de lo que es esta extraña esfera que nos presentaron en video.
Now, I believe this footage came directly from an interview that was talking about the Buga sphere from the people that are currently in possession of it, who have basically micro-analyzed this footage to make sure it's not being doctored, to make sure it's not being edited, AI generated, all the rest of it. And it all came back clear. All right, and obviously there's been a lot discussed with regards to the Buga sphere with, its makeup, its inscribings around the edge of it, how it's changed in mass and density, but it hasn't changed in size, and it changes with hot and cold temperatures. There's a lot that's gone on. But like I say, Dr. Stephen Greer has analysed it, and there's been some interesting things that have come back. Now, it's really interesting. So, obviously, Stephen Greer is a prominent figure within the UFO community, and he's made several assertions about the Buga sphere. So there's personal examination. So Greer claims that he personally examined the sphere and found it to have unique internal structures, including a carbon-based polymer and fiber optic light channels, which he believes are not of human origin, highlighting the not of human origin part, as it kind of plays into this narrative that it could possibly be of extraterrestrial origin. Now, there was also sample collection, so his team allegedly took metal and polymer samples from the sphere to for further analysis, including advanced testing methods like carbon-14 dating and oxygen isotope analysis to determine the age of the material and composition. Now, this has come under some heavy scrutiny, of course, because people have wondered how you carbon date metal. I don't believe it's a possibility. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but based off of what I've seen, I don't think you can carbon date metal. I'm yet to be, correct me if I'm wrong. And then there's also the global phenomenon. So Greer suggests that multiple similar spheres are appearing worldwide, possibly indicating a broader phenomenon linked to the profound shift in consciousness on Earth. Now, yeah, there is, with regards to the validity of extraterrestrial origin, we'll kind of get into that in a moment. But this is kind of part of an interview of the most recent interview that's come out with regards to the Buga sphere.
Video up about, I'd just taken a member of Congress from the House Oversight Committee to Mexico City, where this sphere... I
was going to ask you, the Buga sphere.
The Buga sphere, which was landed in Colombia, South America, near a little town called Buga, B-U-G-A. And the Buga sphere was then brought to Mexico City, and it's about this big. It almost certainly is of non-human origin. And I've examined it. I went there with a whole team of scientists. We took metal samples, all kinds of things.
What was it like? If you examined it, did you actually get to touch this thing, or?
Oh yeah, I held it, examined it. We took metal samples. We took some samples of some polymer material that were in some of the sort of where the fiber optics come out around the equator of it. You can put it up on the screen as I'm describing it. What you're going to see there, what we're wanting to do is carbon-14 dating on the polymer material that are in those little holes around the equator of the sphere. But we also took metal shavings from inside one of those tiny 4 millimeter openings where the fiber optics or sensors are. And we're trying to get those analyzed. Now, we haven't quite set the lab testing up, but we're planning to get that done in the next few months so that we can find out, is the metal from Earth or from outer space? There are tests we can do that. And the carbon-14 dating would tell us how old it is. Is it something that's 5 years old or 4,000 years old, right? We don't know. The way when I examined it and I saw the CAT scans and x-rays and all the other tests that have been done in Mexico City, I have very little doubt that it's of non-human origin. Now, the question is, why are all these starting to fly around? Because there are multiple of them being seen all over the world. And they seem to be getting activated because I think we're coming up against some big changes with the Earth. That's my theory. Not to spook people, but that's what I think is happening.
Well, that's something we talk about in the spiritual circles. A shift in consciousness, some big change of humanity, and that's kind of overlapping. I'd like you, if you can go down that road in a minute, and I'd like to know, is this a chicken and the egg scenario, or is this consciousness itself revealing what needs to be revealed to help us in this shift?
Obviously, very bold claims there to claim that he's confident that this is not of human origin. All right, and you know, he doesn't specifically say yes, it's alien, yes, it's extraterrestrial, yes, it's come from space, but you know, not of human origin would indicate those kinds of things. There are, you know, arguments to be made that it could have been made on this planet by something that's not human, that we're not aware of, and it's been, you know, put out into the world and it's been caught. Now, the validity of extraterrestrial origin obviously is still massively up in the air, and I think Dr. Stephen Greer, unfortunately, is one of those divisive figures that even if he said and slapped us with evidence that it may not be created by humans, people would probably still scoff at it, spit on it, and, you know, crack on and be like, you're nut jobs. Now, there are supporting claims, obviously, from Dr. Stephen Greer that, you know, maybe it's not of human origin, like the unique materials and structures, so the presence of materials and structures not matching known human technology, such as carbon-based polymer and fiber optic channels, could suggest an extraterrestrial origin if these claims are substantiated by rigorous scientific analysis. There's also advanced testing, so obviously, like he stated there, the carbon-14 dating and oxygen isotope analysis, which could potentially provide evidence of the sphere's age, and obviously the global sightings as well, so it's being seen more globally than just in Colombia. Now, there are some skeptical sides to this, obviously. Like, I like to look on both sides of the coin, the pros and the cons. Now, the skeptical perceptions are that, you know, there is a lack of peer-reviewed evidence right now. You know, there's no peer-reviewed scientific evidence currently, other than, you know, people like Jesse Michaels going in, Dr. Stephen Greer going in, other, you know, people in the UFO space kind of going in, but not like this broader non-UFO based scientific origin people to date this stuff. There's also potential human fabrications. So some researchers like cognitive neuroscientist and UAP researcher Diana Pasolka have expressed skepticism, suggesting the sphere might be made by human artifact or an art project rather than an extraterrestrial object. Obviously, that's a possibility that's been thrown around. And also, you know, security and credibility concerns. So incidents like the alleged attempt by fake policemen to steal the sphere raises questions about the security and evidence of the credibility of the narrative surrounding it. Obviously, these things are always going to be met with a bit of resistance, and it's just whether it can weather the storm. and whether these people can weather the storm. Some people swear by what Dr. Stephen Greer says. Some people wouldn't even give him an ounce of time. I guess it's just where you sit on that fence. But what do you guys think about this? Does this add weight and credibility to the Buga potentially being extraterrestrial, or are we no further forward? Obviously, we're lacking any evidence to support these claims. It's just a man saying, I strongly believe that this is not of non-human origin. I like to see a smoking gun, personally. I like to base my opinions on evidence as opposed to hearsay. So I'm going to hold judgment, but what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. While you're down there, jump, get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.